YouTube. Steven here with Handy Freight. Scratch my ear. I haven't made a video in quite a while, and I'm getting the urge. Sitting here in Edina, Minnesota. It's about midnight. Come here a lot, so I'm backed in a door, waiting for the receiver. They should get in here around 6:30. Get me unloaded and on my way. I just do, I have a customer freight. I have 2 trailers. And I have a customer that I spot a trailer out, so they preload it. It'll be ready. It'll be ready tomorrow. I can pick it up anytime. Mostly haul meat out of Minnesota. Usually going to California, or occasionally I get up to Oregon. And I have a dedicated broker I get loads from, bring me back to Minnesota. So I just go back and forth. That's kind of boring, but it's a pretty good road out there. I-80 gets a little bit heavy between Rawlins, Wyoming, and Salt Lake City. A lot of crazy drivers on there, but once you clear Salt Lake City, it's pretty smooth over to Truckee. I usually run into the San Francisco area or Modesto. A couple different delivery points there. I haven't made a video in a while, and I'm just getting kind of antsy. I don't know, a lot of the trucking channels that I follow have, they're all going broke. They're all saying the same thing, Goddamn brokers. Yeah, you gotta pick and choose. I don't know, I seem to be doing okay. Customer freight's all contracts, so I don't have to worry about that. Or haven't had to. I just renewed the contract, so should be good there for a while. It's kind of nice. I have to have 2 trailers, so I have maintenance on 2 trailers, but preload is what I like about it. Although my trailers, they get banged into a lot. I drop a trailer and almost every week there's a marker light missing or a new scratch down the side of the trailer. And I don't know, it's just part of the business. It saves me so much time by not having to schedule a load that, it's worth it. And it's just me pulling my trailers, and I keep up with the maintenance, so I have very few problems. One of my trailers is a 2011 Great Dane reefer. It's got a 7300 on it, carrier. And my other is a 2016 Great Dane with a 7500. And I can haul ice cream in both trailers. We got the thick padding, thick insulation. Once in a while I get an ice cream load out of California coming back to Costco in Owatonna. I'll tell you, I've always had long nose Pete's or W900s. And go to California and back when the fuel prices were kind of high. With that 389, I was running $4,800 to $5,200 in fuel. It was just crazy. And I think it was last March I decided to put my 389 up for sale. It's kind of interesting. I do my financing at a local bank, so 389 when I bought that, interest rates were, I think, about 6%. So I had a pretty sweet deal on the payments on that. And I never, paid off truck to me is it doesn't do very well when it comes to tax time. So I always like to owe. You always want to owe a little bit on your truck. So financing a truck is no big deal. You get a payment $1,200, $1,500 or something. That's that's pretty easy. I've never had a problem making that payment, even if the truck is down. But anyway, last March I decided to go out on a limb and I bought a used prime truck, a 2020 579. This is what I'm sitting in now. It's not too bad. It's got an APU. The thing I liked about this truck, it was super clean inside. Nobody ever smoked in it. No evidence of a dog ever being in it. Whoever owned this truck before, really, they looked after it. And, the best, it brought my fuel bill from $5,200 on a rounder to California and back down to about $2,400. And that's a week. So the fuel had come down when I bought this truck, and I said, I'm just too late. The fuel dropped, but now it's starting to go back up again. I think it's gone up 87 cents since middle of July. And Minnesota here right now, I can buy fuel with my discount for, well, last week I think I was like $3.95 at a Petro in Albert Lea. I was getting it for about $3.85 over in York, Nebraska. But once you get into Nevada, it's back. It's like $5.70, and there's no discounts on my card. I can get 15 cents at a Petro with one card I have. But then you get into California, it's $6, $6.10. When the fuel prices were down, I was buying quite a bit of fuel in California. I topped my tanks there, but not anymore. So this national fuel price average to get my fuel surcharge, it doesn't really apply when you're going west because the national average is $4.26 or $4.28, and like I say, in Nevada you're paying $5.70, $5.60. I pulled into a Maverick because they had cheap fuel. It was I think it was $4.65 in Winnemucca, Nevada. And I pull in there, and there's about every pump was full, and there was a couple trucks waiting, and there was a couple trucks pulled in behind me, and they had run out of fuel. Said, yeah, a truck dropped off a load here an hour ago, and it's already gone. So, needless to say, I didn't wait around. I took off and went down to Mill City and topped my tanks there. But if you take even $2,000 a trip, that's $6,000-$7,000 a month in fuel savings. Now my 389, I just sold it this week. I'd only gotten about 2 offers on it, so I had to, with my insurance company, I have my own authority, so I couldn't take it off the policy. I had to pay the just like I had a driver in it while it was sitting on the lot. I put it on consignment at a lot in my town, and it took about 5 months to sell. Just sold it last week, but I had a kind of interesting loan. I do my financing at a local bank, so even though I had a payment on the 389, when I bought this truck, the bank does what's called the bridge loan, and they have it's $1,000 fee to do this loan, but they finance this new truck and give me 6 months to sell my old truck, and then we just take the money out of the old truck and put it into this and sign a new loan. Of course, interest rates are up about 10% now, so that hurts a little bit, but it's kind of a sweet deal. You get to you get to enjoy the new truck, and even though I had the higher insurance, the fuel savings paid for everything. But now that truck is gone, fuel prices are going back up, so this truck is really paying off big time. It's a 2020 579 Ultraloft, and I've been trucking 40 years. This is, without a doubt, the most comfortable truck I've ever been in. And I've had the Studio sleepers, W9s, big Cats, big Cummins. The one I just sold had a 550 Cummins with an 18 speed. It was a nice truck, but you get up around 67 miles an hour and, things are shaking and it just doesn't feel, you got to drop it to 65, 64, and then it kind of finds its pace. This truck, man, sometimes I got to be careful. I put it on cruise, got the auto shift, never have to touch anything. And I tell you, it's a real joy to drive. This truck, I had a DPF problem. Some little valve or something was plugging up, and it was telling me to do a regen every 50 miles. So I put it in the shop for a week, and I transferred the plates off of this and put it back on my 389 and ran a trip out to California. And I couldn't wait to get back in this truck. It's the 2020 model. I really like the new ones. Some of the I don't know when it came out, maybe 22 or 23, and it's got the little more slope to it, and the radiator's narrower. And if you dress those upright, like Hurricane's done a really good job, I think, of modifying those trucks with visors and lights. They look really sharp. There's just so much room in this truck. I just run single, but it is really, really comfortable. And every truck I've had in the last 12 years, I've made a point to buy one with an APU. And I'll tell you, whether it's the Carrier version or the Thermo King, you have a lot of trouble with those. And this one's really, I haven't had any problems. I had to tighten the belt on it once. But most of these things, you'll be sleeping and all of a sudden you wake up and it's hot and APU's not running. You gotta get out there and crawl under it, see what the hell's going on. A lot of times you can fix it. I know those Carrier ones, they have a little reset button. And it's just above the compressor, so you have to take the bottom off the APU, get in there and press this button. Why the geniuses that designed those couldn't put that reset button in the cab. That happened a couple of times. That's what my 389 had, this Carrier unit. And it was pretty new. It wasn't, it was put on about a year before I bought the truck. But this one here is the Thermo King, and it runs really good. I can't complain. I've serviced it once, and it runs good. This truck, I'm averaging, I run super singles, but with this truck I average about 8 miles to the gallon. The clock on the dash that tells me the mile per gallon, it runs about 8.5, but it's not accurate. Sometimes it's accurate, but most of the time when I check it, it's running about a half a gallon fast. I don't know if that's because maybe the super singles, but Prime had, it had duals on it when I bought it, but Prime, they always run those super singles. And I run supers on my truck and trailer. So I'm just kind of updating people. Like I say, a lot of the people I used to watch, they're just either going broke or they're bitching, and I've been doing this a long time, and things get good, things get bad. Right now, things should be a lot worse, I'll tell you that. What I liked about the run that I'm on is, I really cash flow well. So every week I get a paycheck. I know some of the guys, even the good guys that I follow, work for Landstar and stuff, they have good weeks and bad weeks. So some weeks they owe money and other weeks they get a good check. And I've been able to keep my earnings at pretty consistent. So I'm one guy at least that's happy. And now with the fuel savings, man, I tell you, $6,000 a month in fuel savings. I could have the payment on 3 of these trucks. Not that I'd be interested in putting drivers in. It's just not. I know it works for a lot of guys, but it's just not my thing. It's not a job I enjoy, dispatching and finding loads. And I really enjoy doing it for myself, but like I say, I have the same customers every week, so I can. It doesn't take a lot of effort for me. What else am I doing? I work a lot, so my kids are gone. I got 3 kids. They're all back about 2012 or 13. I bought a shop. So I just bought the shop that I get tired of paying mechanics, breaking down. So every week I pull my truck in the shop and whatever it needs, an oil change filters, or swap tires around, or whatever it is, I'm able to pull it in and just get it taken care of before I go back out. Usually only takes 3 or 4 hours. My youngest boy, he used to take care of all that for me. He's only 18, but he's off at Wildtech to be a truck mechanic. I think he's got about 6 more months there. So I've been on my own, and that's another reason I bought this 2020 truck. It's a little newer, a lot less maintenance. I was listening to a YouTube guy today, and he was talking like you can go with this PACCAR engine, you can go 70,000 miles between services. I don't know about that. I changed this one. I run the synthetic oil, and I changed it at 25, and that's up. The 389, I did it at 15,000 miles at that Cummins. I just, you can run them 70,000 miles, but you're going to have some problems, and the engine's not going to last. I don't care what they say. 25 is pushing it for me, and the truck doesn't go down on oil in 25,000 miles, so I'm not too worried about it. I think I've got a good truck. I've put 80,000 miles on it so far, and seems to be running just fine. Had that one little incident, and I had to get it towed to a shop because it at the last of it, when it went into the forcing me to do a regen, I just kept driving, and I went about 3 miles and the whole thing shut down. So I had to call a truck, hook, get it towed in, but I have insurance for that, so that wasn't too awful bad. It was $900, and the repair itself was $1,100. Yeah, that's when I left it there for a week at the shop. It was at a Kenworth shop. I left it there and got in my 389. It's kind of a farewell trip, I guess. But I don't, I still see a lot of owner-operators out there with 389s, and I don't know if they're waiting for better times or they're just holding on, but the fuel would just kill you in those trucks. So I've gone from, on a round trip with the 389, I could get between 5 and 5.5 miles per gallon, and now I'm pretty consistent between 7.5 and 8. Depending on how much weight I have on the wind. But just about ready to go to bed. Let these guys bang on my door in the morning. But I'm gonna upload this before I go to bed, and I might try if anybody watches it. I've only got like five subscribers, so probably not many people are gonna watch it. But I'm gonna try to ramp it up. Maybe put out one every couple days or one a week for sure, and we'll see what happens. So all you hardcore truckers out there, keep on trucking. Thank you.